So, what's the challenge today? Challenge is a pricing calculator. Coding a project, not sure what to charge. I need to know my costs, a sense of the market, turning that into a confident number. So, my audience is freelancers and consultants who struggle with pricing under targeting cost. Okay, sounds good. Well, let's go. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to my folder and I'm going to make a directory called pricing calculator, pricing calc, cd pricing calc, and I'm going to open up my Claude. Hey Claude, I'm scoping out a new project. Today it's a pricing calculator. So the intended audience is freelancers and designers and website developers, things like that. The goal here is to have a tool that allows me as a consultant to take into account a bunch of factors. Like say I'm building out landing pages, and it's part of marketing campaigns. I do the copy, I do the design, I do a whole bunch of stuff. I need to be able to scope this out and price it out. How would I go about doing this? My goal is to create a simple app that runs on a local host, ideally using something like React to make it interactive. I want to remember stuff, right? So between sessions, I think it'd be nice to have like a JSON config that has my hourly rates and my basic information, as well as a way to save that and maybe even send a quote to a client. What I want you to do is plan this out with me. Ask me some questions so we can develop this together. So it seems that it's gone somewhere, so let's go get it. I think, here you go, have it right here, and I'm gonna put it in planning mode. So very much, what is it? I've got the audience is freelancers, consultants. I want your cost, time estimates, logic is part calculation, part strategy. All right, so how do I typically structure my pricing? I'm generally speaking a fixed project rate. There's also some hybrid, so landing pages for sure. Full websites, I do copywriting. I don't do design assets for this. I would like to be able to have an on-screen summary. Don't need it to be very complicated. Do apply pricing modifiers? Yes, I do, absolutely. Sometimes there's clients that are just way too demanding, so that's normal. Anyway, so my objective here is actually just to build this out. Oh, more questions. What pricing modifiers do I have? Rush fee for sure. Complexity tiers, yep. Revision limits, yeah, 100%. Yeah, of course, discounts are essential. How should I save quotes? By client? Yeah, I think that's probably the best. Yeah, let's do by client. Should the calculator support bundle pricing for multiple deliverables? Yeah, simple total. Yeah, that should normally when you're offering multiple services, it makes sense that it's a bit get a bundle discount, right? I'm really at the stage right now where I'm defining the project direction, right? In the sense that right now I've gotten something pretty much scoped out. In fact, I should probably go ahead and grab the initial prompt, although I'm not following it like super closely. And I'll try to open up a new, let's do anti-gravity. Let's create a new one, and let's bring this over. so, and then open folder, let's go to build content. Perfect. Let's go pricing calc, create a new, paste it, save and initial prompt.txt. There you go. So, what did he build out for me? A React-based pricing calculator, freelancers, consultants, React with Fight. Yeah, always good. It's really quick. TypeScript, Tailwind, local JSON, business name, quote storage. So it's got to store it through JSON, features, quote builder, quote summary, save quotes, settings, etc. Looks pretty good. Yeah, let's go with that. Now there's a few things, yeah, he's going to be asking me to do quite a lot of things at this point. Yeah, I'm going to have to install my environment, npm install. Now, while that's happening, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my agent manager. I'm going to go here, build content. I'm going to say, change the model to Gemini Pro. We're going to be building a pricing calculator. Now, I already have another agent who is building the structure and the scaffolding as well as the file structure. Note that there's going to be a quote builder, which is going to be the main view, quote summary, saved quotes, and settings, which is going to allow me to edit my business info, adjust the hourly rates, configure the base rates, etc. I'd like you to create a short document that actually summarizes the key features that would enable me to be more efficient or maybe just create better quotes in this context. In essence, what I'm asking you to do is to search the web for relevant data on landing pages, on quote builders, and things like that, and generate a baseline of what's important. What I mean by that is I want to compare myself to other people on the internet and know if I'm doing something right or wrong. So, glad to have Gemini. Go ahead and do some search. I find Google so much better with regards to doing this than Claude. Claude's search capabilities are just really not that strong comparatively. It's such a good coding agent, but in terms of web design, search, it's limited. Don't understand exactly why that's the case. So at this point, this is being built. So what's happened here is yes, I want you to move in. Pricing calc has started building. So I've got my node modules, my public, my source. Source is where the actual app exists. All of this is just actually things that are supporting either my agent through Claude or the node modules, which are a bunch of libraries that allow me to actually build things out and be useful, right? Anyways, let's see what the agent has for me here. Create a baseline summary of quote builder baseline. Oh, wonderful. So this section summarizes. So real-time calculations as options are selected, conditional logics, visual configuration, icon changes when being selected, flexibility, sliders, toggles, switches, and drop-downs. Preset bundles, that's a good one. I think we should have preset bundles and smart defaults as well as validation. Step before, granular breakdown, interactive adjustments, visual trust signals, dynamic usage, show potential ROI. I think this is good for sales. I think a good pricing calculator should have that, as well as instant generation of a branded PDF. Yeah, I don't think we'll have time for that right now, but it's a good idea. So, yeah, that's actually really good. Generally speaking, what I like to have is, models are trained very differently between them, right? And I think it's always important to look at to look at multiple models, what they have to say, and you get the best of both worlds. Like Gemini is amazing at doing certain things. It's good at research. It's good at going deep into a subject and getting and extracting some information. It's not the best at coding. Honestly, it's quite frustrating when it comes to coding. Comparatively, Claude Code is amazing. Claude is just the best coding agent by far, but it's not the best at it has a tendency to do web searches that are a bit weird. It has gotten better, but I just find them a bit weird. So I think every model has its strength, and it's about using them to their best abilities, right? Oh, we're at a point where it's testing out its build. When it says npm run build, I've got an error going on here, but I'm just not too worrisome. It's just a TypeScript error. It's going to fix itself. But when it starts doing npm run build, it's always very exciting because it means we're about to see something. And then we get into the phase of making it better, right? Where we're going to fine tune it, we're going to make it crisper and make it look the way we want. One of the ways I do this is the skills called the front-end aesthetics or front-end design from Anthropic, and it's really good at doing a pass on the UX UI and making it look better. But at this point, what I want to do is have this open up. It's almost done. Build succeeded. So now it's going to start so this is where I'm going to say no. I'd rather do that myself. So I'm going to go ahead and open this in a new tab. I've got it here on localhost 5176. All right, so select a client, no client, new client, test at test example.com. I'm gonna add that client, add the item. Yeah, okay, so immediately this is the things that are gonna come out to me. So I want you to inspect the quote builder baseline markdown document. I don't want you to be doing PDF, but I do want you to implement a few of its recommendations, of which I want a better default state where it already has a few options that are basic and maybe allowing me to clear it as well, but I want that. Additionally, I'd like to have some input flexibility, either sliders or toggles or things like that, as well as some preset bundles that allow me to start from like a good, better, best, and then I can actually modify them as I go through. In the end, I also want to have something that's a bit more adapted to the way humans operate, humans work, in the sense that the vibe here needs to be strongly intuitive in terms of the UX design for the user. I also want you to add on tax. The average tax rate for where I'm at is 13%, so if you could use that as a default. Now, the issue I'm going to have is I'm not build content. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm not going to have time to go too much. So I'm going to spin up another angle, and I'm going to say use the /frontend aesthetics skill to do a pass on this app. Make it look better. I want a bold, minimalistic look that utilizes a blocky shadow, drop shadow style effect, as well as nicer typographic choices, and just generally makes it feel like it has a lot more personality. Ideally, I'd like to have a very simple color palette with no more than 4 colors. Let's go for a strong red on this one, on a white background with black borders and maybe another color to just add some depth. But let's make this really strong. Note that there's another agent working on this, so you might need to take that into account when you're doing your changes, but know that your job is aesthetics and design. Note that there's another agent that's going to be working on this repo, and they'll be working on the design, so please do not make any modifications on the design. All right, so we'll be able to see this. So this is something that I've gotten used to, is when you're working on a project and you can segment it out into the more technical, this is the functions, the functionality, and the design layer. It's much more useful and pragmatic to use multiple agents on the same project, especially as you saw when you communicate between them and you talk between them. I find that this is the best way to avoid errors in terms of like them needing to constantly, one does something and then the other one does something, and then they're constantly like fixing their own work. So this is what I find is the most effective way to get that going. Now I'm gonna let him rip on this one because I just gave him the front end aesthetics, so I want that to be good. I'm really looking forward to what it has to create in terms of the styling of that. I see here that it's already gotten the quick start, so that's great. Oh, already it's looking like it's got a bit more personality, which makes me quite happy. So we're going to see this continue to improve as we go forward. We're also seeing that both of them are working pretty nicely together, so that's good. Got the tax amount, still needs to be dealt with. There's still some blues everywhere, but the buttons are being changed. This is fine. We want to be able to, oh, that's so nice. That's exactly what I want. Good. These are the kinds of like surprises I find that with models you have like a lot of surprises when you're building. So now I'm just going to refresh this in the sense that sometimes you give it a vague direction and you're surprised in what it creates for you. This is something that I've found to embrace because code has become so cheap. It's just nicer for me to work this way, right? So good. So what I want to see now is how are these bundles working? So professional. Oh, pricing calculator has been updated. Still need the hover states are still looking a bit blue there. I don't want you to build, so I'm going to say no. I'd like you to improve the quick start options. Instead of just offering a landing page, I'd like you to give multiple elements and break down the landing page into its components, potentially adding multiple lines to this. So your basic landing page or starter should have like a landing page and also something else. Same thing for professional, same thing for complete package, not just deliverable in complexity, but it should go a bit further in terms of the breakdown. A usual invoice is going to have more than one line item for this kind of thing. So I'd like that to be the case. This is looking good. There's just the sliders and the text color, so I'm going to let that know. The sliders and the text color on the main page are still in the old blue. If you could look into this and fix it when you have a moment. This is cool. Settings. That's great. I have all of my elements. Rush free. There you go. Got 5 minutes remaining. Things are going pretty well at this point. I think I'm going to be pretty happy to have this done. The only thing that's going to be necessary is to save it and see what I can do. So let's see what the starter has. There you go. Multiple items. Got this design consultation, so that's much better. I'm going to need to refresh this, I think, and just select the client, use the starter. There you go. We're still lacking that. Let's see in the settings if that has been updated. I'm not seeing it updated yet, so what I'm going to ask here is, let's make sure that on the settings page it's properly pulling from the JSON. I saw that you modified it on the JSON, but I'm not seeing an update on the settings page. Here I've got the still got the sliders in blue. That's okay. 3 minutes left though, so I don't want to spend too much longer on this. Here I'm seeing what happened there. The issues with the app caches and local storage, so it's still using the old version without new deliverable types. There you go. So that's what was happening. So now we can run the build. What I can do at that point is, if that's the case, I can actually stop the server, refresh it, and then I should be able to see things a bit more clearly. There you go. It's properly pulling it. So if I save quote, what does it do? Okay, starter. Save quote. Okay, save quote is resetting it right now, so that's a problem. When I press save quote, it's actually resetting it to the landing page right now. Could you have it not do that and just save the state? I'd like you to export a screenshot of the DOM with the list items. So very much it should be the quote summary with the different items, the subtotal, the bundle discount, the before tax, the total, and the includes 2 revisions, and nothing else. So in terms of the design has been properly done. This looks great, great, great. I really like that. I can add my name, Lemon Brand. So I'm at lemonbrand.io. I won't add my phone. I've got my hourly rate, my low prices. Everything looks good. I'm going to save those settings. Hopefully that actually saves. So if I refresh and go to settings, I'm seeing that everything has saved properly. That's great. Oh, I see that my name has appeared up there, which is always a nice feeling when things work out that way. Now let's see if I have the time. Let me capture a screenshot. So now it's finishing. So what it's doing now is, I don't have the time here, but the Puppeteer. So it's going to install Puppeteer, which allows it to actually take screenshots. For your information, if you ever do create something like this, if you want to just take a screenshot, you can actually use something called, you can go into the code a bit like this, and I can find the thing right here, and I can actually right click on that div and say capture node screenshot, which is actually a way to take a picture of this kind of thing. So you can actually do that, and it will allow you to have the image saved like this. So it's a simple workaround if ever you need to just use the screenshot instead of having to implement this, because right now I'm right at the end, and there you go. Took me 25:02. So this was a great project. I like it. It's functional. It looks good. The thing I liked the most about this was the fact that the aesthetic was so nice. This blocky style I find has a lot of character, and I really enjoyed it. Otherwise, the process went pretty smoothly. I was able to define what I wanted, iterate on it a few times. The 25-minute timer was quite, I felt it quite strongly on this one, so, but that was quite good. Otherwise, good project. I'm happy with this pricing calculator, and going to be happy to post it online. There you go. Now I have it here. I have my pricing calculator and my notes. I'm quite happy with that. I'm gonna let this run, just finish up with the screenshot, but otherwise I'm very happy with the creation of this and the process. Really great challenge. I do recommend that if you have something to do like this where you want to have a pricing calculator, as you saw, it took about 25 minutes with an agent, and I was able to really get something that's not only functional but also is quite beautiful. So I hope that you enjoy this. Don't hesitate to leave me a follow, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what other build guide you'd like me to do, and looking forward to the next one.